Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast. And it seems that there is no escaping the experience economy right now, does it? The genie is out the bottle, Pandora's box has been opened, or whatever metaphor you want to use. Because as consumers, the simple truth is we now prefer experiences over the product itself. But how can businesses not only meet those expectations, but continue to raise them and transform the way that they sell online? The answer, of course, is with an AI-powered solution that helps deliver relevant buying experiences and ultimately driving business growth. But strip all that back, and the experience economy is built on two things: data and artificial intelligence. And tech-first companies have trained people to expect these personalised, relevant and unified experiences seamlessly across any device, much like Netflix started out doing. But a company called Coveo believes that they can help businesses be that intelligent experience leader, because they recently announced Covea Commerce, which is an AI-powered solution that is aiming to drive this next era of personalised, profitable, omni-channel customer interactions. But what is it, and what does that actually mean in your world? Well, the answer to those questions and many more like it are waiting in California with Mark Floysand, CMO of Coveo, who's waiting to speak with not just me, but to you too about the Coveo for Commerce and what it means for businesses. And Mark has 25 years global experience in high tech, building and leading teams in software and hardware, general management, marketing, sales, e-business and operations expertise. Not to mention blue chip experience with huge tech heavyweights such as Adobe, Apple, Business Objects, SAP, and so many more. So let's get him on the podcast now and find out what it's all about. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Mark. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Thanks for having me, Neil. My name is Mark Floysand. I look after marketing for Coveo. We're a tech firm based in the cold climes of Quebec City in Canada.
My understanding is Coveo is an experience intelligence platform that stitches together content and data and all the time learning from each interaction to tailor every experience using artificial intelligence. But can you set the scene and tell the listeners a little bit more about the kind of problems you solve with this emerging technology for your clients?
Absolutely, Neil. One of the challenges I think that many enterprises are struggling with is how to deliver the same kind of expectations to their customers and to their staff as we as consumers have come to expect from the enterprise giants like Facebook and Amazon and Netflix and so on. You know, these are companies that deliver highly personalized information into each individual that subscribes to them or connects to them. Facebook, for example, is proud of the fact that they deliver 2 billion feeds a day to their 2 billion users, and not one of those is the same. And so with that kind of consumer expectation in the digital world we now inhabit, enterprises are having to figure out how to deliver the same kind of experience specific to their business as well.
Now, when we think about this, I think we all are ruled by personalized experiences now, whether it be Netflix, Spotify, Amazon. We just pick up any device that's closest to hand and receive that personalized experience, which, of course, is, all our expectations to rise dramatically when going to another business. But do you have any use cases you could possibly share just to help people understand just how much of a game changer this tech is proving to be?
Sure, I'll give you an example. One of our customers is a major shoe manufacturer, a company called Caleres, and they have 18 different shoe brands, as well as their own retail operation called Famous Footwear. And you know, one of the challenges in that business is that if you're like me, you know, you may have a particular set of brands that you prefer, and you may be completely unaware of the fact that there are other products that could be, you know, complementary substitutes or alternatives. That company was seeing each of those sort of brand operations as their own entity, and they didn't really speak to each other. Yet as consumers, if you're going to, you know, shop for shoes, why not bring the preferences that I've shown in my shoe buying habits to bear and recommend to me other shoes that might be to my taste. If Caleris already knows my shoe size from prior purchases, they can also immediately start recommending things that they know are available in my size, in my local stores. So it's that notion of really bringing to bear all of the information that's available about me as a shopper, both in the moment of what I'm looking for, as well as anything I may have done prior, and making sure that the things that are being recommended to me are highly, highly relevant. No point telling me, and I'm a runner, so this is close to my heart, the number of times I look for a certain brand of shoe across the web, and I'll be presented with that brand, but in a size 13 and a size 6, and I'm a 10 and a half. So having relevant offers is super, super important. And that would be a classic example of how, retailers, brands, and the like can be much more specific in the tailoring of the recommendations that they make to each shopper.
One of the reasons I was excited to get you on the podcast today was after hearing about your recent announcement about Covea for Commerce, which I believe is an AI-powered solution that will drive the next era of personalized, profitable omni-channel customer interactions. But can you tell me more about that announcement and also what it will mean for business leaders listening?
Sure. So I think the key thing with this, Neil, is that this is the latest solution from Coveo that is built on the Experience Intelligence platform, but is specifically to help retailers and brands and distributors in the kind of B2B world enable them to compete. What it specifically does is really 5 things. One is optimize their catalogs so that the kind of product and content information that they have can be unified and presented to shoppers or buyers to help them find the most relevant information. Because honestly, if someone can't find a product in your catalog, it's basically not for sale. So optimizing that catalog to bring to the forefront the kind of products and supporting information about those products to make it easier for people to figure out what it is they want to buy. The second piece of it is the ability to improve the commerce search. When we shop, we tend to use search as a primary navigation vehicle because it's very specific. Unfortunately, for many organizations, the results that they deliver up to their shoppers are substandard. So improving that so that when shoppers shop, they're presented with things that are actually relevant and what they're looking for, help them find what it is they're looking to do. The third bit of it is what we call intent detection, the idea that if I can get to the heart of what you're trying to do as a shopper, is it to educate yourself? Is it to buy something specific? Is it just to check pricing? How can I infer your intent as quickly as possible and therefore give you the most relevant information that helps you along your buying journey? The fourth piece of this, we think of it as automated merchandising, the ability for large retailers, large distributors with literally millions of stock keeping units or products in their catalog, they are faced with the quandary that they simply cannot kind of look at every one of those things in that catalog and improve them and optimize them and set up promotional rules for them. Whereas AI, artificial intelligence, has the ability to do a lot of that heavy lifting for them and let them spend time on really caring for the main promotions that they might be driving. And the fifth bit of it, we think of as kind of a business optimization capability, which is the idea that it's all very well personalizing for the shopper. And we just talked earlier about the need to be Facebook-like, Amazon-like in that personalization, but it's also got to make business sense. And what I mean by that is the idea that if I have as a retailer 2 products and they're very similar, but one of them, frankly, I make more profit margin on, it should be okay for me to promote that above the one that might be a break-even proposition. So how does the AI also factor in information about the products themselves, what service impacts they may have, the profitability of those products to optimize and balance between personalizing recommendations to the shopper and sending or offering those products that also make business sense.
And as consumers, we all play a part in this experience economy now, and many of us prefer experiences over the product itself. And if you strip all that back, the experience economy, of course, is built on data and artificial intelligence. But am I right in saying then, after listening to you there, that personalization alone is just not enough for businesses?
That's exactly right, Neil. You've nailed it, because the obsession I think we've seen over the last 10 years on improving the kind of tailoring of information on websites and stores has been very much with, personalizing to the shopper at the forefront. But an simple example would be, if I decided to, let's say as a consumer, I'm looking to buy a new watch, and I'm presented with an offer. The best experience for me as that shopper would be that watch is tailored to me. It's exactly what I'm looking for. It's in the price points that I was thinking about. And hey, presto, it's actually going to be delivered in 5 minutes. And by the way, it's free of charge. That would be the best experience to have. But that's a loss-making proposition for the retailer that's selling me that watch. They will go out of business if they give all their product away. So that's an extreme example of why one also has to factor in, without using hyperbole, the reality of what makes good business sense. And so, making sure that things like product margins are taken into account in terms of recommending one product or another, making sure that if one product has a very high returns rate because maybe it has a quality issue, how does that automatically get sort of suppressed from the search results so that the store stops selling them? This is, we're in an age when people are able to shop 24/7. And so you can't count on the fact that if someone is buying a product online, that someone is awake to monitor whether those products are also generating lots of returns requests from the contact center, and automatically making changes to ensure that those don't continue to be sold. If we go back years, think of the promotion in the UK a couple of decades ago now with Hoover and giving away free airline flights. That ran away so fast because people realized that it was cheaper to buy a Hoover and fly to New York and do your shopping. And we're doing so to the point that it nearly, put the company in serious financial situations. You can't afford for that kind of lack of business optimization to delight the customer and put you out of business.
And for people listening then, how will Coveo for Commerce actually help them and shoppers find what they want and what they need?
Yeah. So one of the things that we've been able to tap into is the reality that every store, every retailer, every brand for that matter, has existing customers who leave an awful lot of information in their wake as to what they've looked at, what they clicked on, what they ignored, what they purchased. And when brands take advantage or retailers take advantage of all of this latent information that exists inside their systems already, they're able to start inferring and predicting what kind of content and product recommendations will be relevant to other people. So if I've shown up at a website and I've never been there before, I'm an anonymous visitor, there is still information that Coveo can quickly put to work to start personalizing and recommending things for me based on my pattern of behavior that Coveo may have seen exhibited by prior shoppers. And so immediately as an individual shopping on that store, I'm starting to be presented with things that have proven useful for other people. We used to call that wisdom of the crowds, if you like. And that idea that across a high volume of information, there's lots of data that can be used by the AI systems to see what other people like me who exhibited similar behavior found useful, and indeed what they didn't, and therefore help put that in front of me to help me shop and ultimately buy what it is I'm looking to do.
And on the flip side of that coin, for businesses, how's it going to help them greater understand that buyer intent to predict what to offer and also, of course, streamline that shopping experience?
Well, one of the things that I think many businesses don't appreciate is how much data they're already sitting on. For example, if you look at what your current customers have purchased, there's an immense amount of information that is stored within the systems and silos inside any particular organization about those customers and those shoppers. And so that can be put to work using AI to start ensuring that subsequent purchases or subsequent interactions from those existing customers are relevant It's one of those things where if you're a customer who already owns a particular product, the last thing you want when you go back to that company is to be offered that product again. That's just stupid. And so how does a business first and foremost respect the customer information that it's got when interacting with its customers? And then secondarily, to see the sort of click streams, the search journeys, the interactions that each of those shoppers took, that data, that raw material, that signal data can be put to work using an experience intelligence platform to make the most relevant recommendations for subsequent shoppers, even though nothing might be known about their buying habits yet.
And 4 years have now passed since IBM said that infamous quote that the last best experience that anyone has anywhere becomes the minimum expectation for the experience that they want everywhere. And it often feels like businesses are now desperately trying to play catch up with our expectations. So do you think that the time is now for businesses to invest in AI for commerce?
Yes, it is. Neil, one of the things I think that we hear often is, and of course, as consumers, we're so familiar with it, is the Amazon-esque experience. The fact that, there are recommendations that make that shopping experience more effective. You look to this, could I recommend that? People like you that bought this, bought that. Because you own this, you might want to consider that. That company started investing in massive data storage and AI capabilities 20 years ago. It was the basis of the founding of it, and obviously has grown from strength to strength to top $1 trillion in valuation, and 39% of their revenue is actually driven by those recommendations, which is a huge sum of money, and so. If you're a brand or you're a retailer competing with Amazon, there's the oh God, it's too late, let me throw in the towel, roll over and die approach. There's the, which is obviously not anything we're recommending. There's the, all right, well, let me start from scratch and build this stuff up. The challenge with that is that these large digital first companies have a huge head start. And so constantly trying to play catch up is going to be really difficult. The opportunity for businesses looking at the reality of the customer shopping experience today and the expectations that we as consumers all have, those businesses need to think of a different strategic approach. And one of the ways they can do that is tap into some of the technology vendors that have effectively built platforms on which they can run their businesses, on which they can take advantage of AI that's already pre-built, of which there are already teams of data scientists that have built out the same kind of capabilities so that they don't need to start from scratch, but they need to do that now.
And what is it that excites you about the rise of the experience economy and the role that Coveo for Commerce will play in the future of that? What makes you want to jump out of bed in the morning?
Well, as an ardent online shopper, and I've been in the online space for well over 15 years, so I've seen a lot grow. I actually ran an e-commerce store very successfully earlier in my career, and I kind of wish that moment was now to take advantage of the kind of technology capabilities that are now on the shelf. Building these things from scratch is extremely hard work and very painful. To tap into the kind of services that are available from companies like ours would be, a completely different work experience. So it excites me to think about how we're able to empower e-commerce owners, brands, VPs of digital commerce in ways that, frankly, were just almost impossible to do before. I guess the other part of it is that when we talk with our customers, we have over 500 enterprise customers. The sentiment we hear back is this is fundamentally changing the value that they're offering to their customers. And for some of our retail brands in particular, they have seen the rise of these digital first behemoths as an existential threat and are grappling with how to compete. They see us as a superpower. It enables them to kind of do heroic acts and put their company back on the map in the space they're in. And that is hugely motivating. When we're helping enterprises thrive in the face of this kind of AI takes all, economy, that's what gets me out of bed and charges me up.
Excellent. And for anyone listening that would like to find out more information about the announcement that we've talked about today and all the great work that you're doing, can you just point them in the direction of how to find you online and also contact your team if anyone has any questions?
Sure. The best place to reach us is coveo.com, Coveo.com. Alternatively, coveo.com/commerce will give you specific information about our recent announcement. And anyone can reach me via Twitter at Floysand, Floisand.
Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on today. How you use artificial intelligence and intelligent search and recommendation technologies at Coveo to actually personalize millions of digital experiences for customers, partners, dealers, and employees is just phenomenal. It really is. And just a huge thank you for taking the time to come on here and share that story with me. So thanks again, Mark.
Thank you, Neil. It's been a pleasure.
It really does feel like the experience economy is what gets all the headlines right now. But hey, like I said at the very beginning of this episode, if you strip it right back, it's data and AI making sense of all that information and building those personalised experiences. That is what's at the heart of all that. But in simple terms, it's just about leveraging technology to harness all catalogue content and product information and help shoppers find what they want and what they need, which is just understanding buyer intent to predict what you can offer them and streamline that shopping experience, which ultimately should optimize your digital business. So that's my understanding of what they're trying to do with Coveo for Commerce. But maybe you have different experiences and insights out there. So let me pass the virtual microphone over to you. If we have any experience makers out there that want to share their experiences in this industry and the challenges that they've had to overcome, whatever it is, all you need to do is email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com. Social media, I'm on all platforms at Neil C. Hughes. And my website is techblogwriter.co.uk. But right now, it's time for my afternoon nap experience. So all that's left for me to say is a big thank you for listening. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.